It's the beautiful sound of a miracle. The fact that Austin McGrath is even here today, never mind able to play Beethoven's Für Elise, is just that, a miracle. In May of 2011, Austin, an experienced swimmer, was working on his lane swim at the rec center indoor pool when something was just not right.
I told my mom, she was in the pool in the lane next to me, and I told her I wasn't feeling quite right. Like I was kind of off. I was tired. It felt hard to push myself. Like I just wasn't that good.
It was then when Austin's life would never be the same.
So I'm on the pool side, face completely gray. Mom gets out of the water and she starts slapping me, turns me over, starts slapping me in the face, trying to wake me up. Two guys were in the hot tub. They run over, pull me out of the water, and then Carla Atkinson jumps out of the hot tub. She starts giving me CPR. Someone calls the ambulance. Ambulance was there within 4 minutes getting the call.
Austin suffered a cardiac arrest and was clinically dead for 15 minutes and had less than 1% chance of survival, but EMS jumped in.
Get me on the stretcher, get me on in the ambulance, start defibrillating me, trying to get my heart rate back. They tried, I think, 3 or 4 different times to try to get my heart rate back, because they got it back, I think, twice, but every time they got it back, it wasn't a regular heartbeat and it wasn't a constant one, so they had to reshock and try to get a constant one. And when they finally got it back, it was low, but it was good enough to keep going, and then they put me in a cooling protocol, and that was basically cool your temperature down and put you in induced coma. It's my 21st birthday. Happy 21st in a coma. I was in induced coma for 8 days, and then once they took me out, I was in a coma for another 9 days.
If he was to recover, it was expected he would live with permanent brain damage and have extensive rehab ahead of him.
At one point, I had 19 different IVs in my body, through my arms, necks, and legs. And then one day, the doctor came in and said, just let him fight it for himself. Like, he's been doing it this whole time, and we've been trying to help him out, but just kind of let it fight him for himself. And once they started doing that, I started to get better. I started to regain my consciousness.
But during his coma, Austin remembers one thing.
I was listening to my mom read a book. It was Keith Richards' life story or life biography. And she was reading to me when I was in a coma, and actually when she started reading to me when I was conscious again, she started reading from the very beginning, and I told her, like, no, I can remember all this. Like, you've read me like all this story before. But I was unconscious at the time, so I actually told her parts of the stories that I remembered. That so when people are in a coma, they actually do hear you and they do remember and they do listen to you. So I think that's really important.
Tough to understand, but luck was on his side throughout this terrible ordeal.
I was so lucky that I was out of the pool when it happened. Like, I didn't inhale any water. Like, it was just kind of all the stars lined up. Like, it wasn't all the stars lined up for it being negative to happen that day. But then all the stars lined up that day for, the CPR, Carla being able to do CPR there, the ambulance being right down the street from the rec center. Everything kind of just was so lucky that it just kind of fell into place that way too. So,
fortunately, after 17 days, Austin awoke from his coma, but he wasn't in the clear just yet. It wasn't going to be an easy recovery, according to doctors and specialists. But Austin had other plans.
It should have taken me like 6 months, but I was walking within a week and I was doing one-legged squats a week and a half later. One-legged squats a week and a half later. So even physio came in and they're like, I don't know what to do with you. Like, you're faster than we've ever seen anybody come back. And like, they honestly had no idea what to do. So like I said, it's just it's a miracle story for them and it's a miracle story for me. So even the doctors are blown away. So.
But Austin wasn't done surprising anyone just yet. He had one more up his sleeve. In fact, it was a surprise for him too.
This is the very first day that I was let out of the hospital. I went down. They had a grand piano in the calf tower, and I hadn't touched a piano in probably 2 months because I was in the hospital. But the first time I sat down, I could remember exactly how to play. Like, it was kind of iffy, but I remembered exactly how to. I remembered all my scales, all my songs. It was really heart touching. Like, all my family was there. They were crying. The nurses came down. They were listening.
Once he played that piano, he knew everything would be all right.
It's like I lost all my other memory. So for me, that was kind of the big turning point, saying, I'm actually going to be better. Like, it's all going to work out all right. So.